documented death from AIDS was 1959 in the Belgian Congo. We see the first case in the United States in 1981. Now I know what you're thinking. Here. Does he have one? Okay. First case in the U.S. is 1981. I know what you're thinking. Well, gosh, I hear about AIDS so frequently. How can the first case just be like 30 years ago? Well, because from that first case, we then have an explosion of AIDS. Do you have a pen or pencil for me?
Are you serious? I have a pink one.
Thank you, because
No, you
I'm having an
didn't.
issue here with I'm not
Okay, well, you never told me that. Well, I'm really glad I got on video helping me and you talked to me.
Today, all right, Mark and Jake, don't hold. Today, there are 40 million cases of AIDS worldwide. 40 million. And y'all, that really is a very sad testament to a very preventable disease. In the spring of 1982, we have a whole bunch of gay men dying from the same pneumonia. It's a pneumonia that is not responding to any type of antibiotics. So we are trying to figure out what in the world's going on. The CDC starts tracing it in 1982. President Reagan doesn't mention anything until the spring of 1986. 5 years after the first outbreak. He fully well knew about it. There are two trains of thought here. First of all, he didn't say anything because it was so new. He didn't want to alarm the American public and not be able to answer questions on it. The second train of thought is because of his conservative agenda, he may not have said anything because who was it wiping out?
Gays.
Homosexuals. Exactly right. It's a very interesting study when you look at it. We can, and I read a book, and it's a great book. If you ever need a book to do any kind of report on, it's great. It's called When Plague Strikes. It documents 3 plagues, and it's incredible that these 3 are in there. Smallpox, bubonic plague, and AIDS. Those 3 are linked to be the most devastating in terms of human population. And that's interesting that all 3 were together. We can link all of our AIDS cases in the United States to one male homosexual flight attendant. He flew all over the United States. He landed in airports on the West Coast. He landed at airports on the East Coast and the Southwest. Because of his activity, we have the spread of AIDS. Isn't that interesting? Did y'all ever do like an activity when you were in middle school where you had one person in the class wear a glove? No? Oh, this is...
We had one where it was like a bunch of cups and it was like a certain chemical. It was like one person started off with something like when you poured in water it would turn a different color. And so like you went and like mixed the cups and then at the end you dumped the water and it showed like how many people actually got the infected.
And that's a perfect way to do it. Another way that I had participated in and seen done is just one person wears a glove, just like a little white glove. It doesn't even have to be like a plastic glove. A white glove. And you say, okay, everybody shake hands. And then that person with the glove only shakes a couple of people's hands and then very non-discriminately just kind of stands to the side. And you shake hands with people in the class. You have about a minute to do it. By the end of that minute, guess what? The one person with the glove had AIDS. Who in the class has AIDS?
All of us.
Every person. So it's a great study as to how it spreads. But what does that glove represent? And prevention is what I'm trying to get you to get at. Never mind, I don't want you to answer that. The glove represents prevention, simply. And it is a true study of how we can prevent the spread of AIDS. AIDS. California has the highest population of them. Guess who has the second?
Florida.
Florida. Exactly right. So when you look at the top 10 states, California is the first and Florida is the second. The highest percentage of people with the outbreak of AIDS as of 2011 were people between the ages of 20 and 24. Why is that not surprising?
Because that's when you're most sexually active.
They're sexually active and they are
In
in college. They're in college. So many of these people are not living in their parent households. And they're single. That's also works too. But this is the college age time when people are experimenting, which is what you naturally do in college. There's also a higher percentage of AIDS in the black population than any other minority and in the white population. And there's been a lot of research as to why that is. And it is found that by and large, the black population, African Americans, have less access to the prevention of births. Thus less access to the prevention of STDs. Because hopefully y'all don't know this, but condoms are expensive. They're very expensive. And if you're going to choose between condoms and pay your electric bill, what are you going to do? You're going to pay your bill. Exactly. So it is truly one of those situations where we see economics being a factor in the spread of this disease. Lots and lots of studies, but I think there was a conversation that I had with Kyle a couple of weeks ago about that child, remember, that has put all of the AIDS symptoms in remission, and they're saying he could effectively be cured. So as of now, it's 2013, we may be on to something. But it's taken a long time, a very long time. Okay, this is what you need to write. First case seen in the U.S.
The title of AIDS?
AIDS, exactly. First case seen in the U.S. in 1981. Let me finish my train of thought. President Reagan,
Right, this.
yes, President Reagan first mentions AIDS in 1986.
How'd that one why didn't he get it? Did he go to Africa and get it? That's my question.
Good question. We can't really definitively say where he got it because he flew through so many different international airports. Now, it was proven, gosh, I can't remember which year, that the HIV virus originates in chimpanzees. And the link to humans, no, it has nothing to do with that. The link to humans is that many people eat chimpanzee meat. So what was happening is they're undercooking it. And they are getting it that way, or when they field dress a dead chimpanzee, that they would have a cut and the chimpanzee's blood would get into their cut, and you would get it that way as well. So we see it jump.
Did the chimpanzees die too?
Chimpanzees were dying too. Yes. We see it jump that way. But there's no, there was no definitive place we could link it to that man. Last thing, did I say 40 million worldwide? Okay, 40 million cases worldwide.
Is that how many cases have been so far, or how many new cases a year?
Currently, we have 40 million people worldwide with AIDS. That doesn't include the people that have died from it. Marcy. He was an American, and I don't remember his name. I don't. But I want you to think about it. Like, if he flew into LA and had relations with somebody in LA, and he flew into New York and had relations with somebody in New York, and he flies into Dallas or Houston and has relations with him, can you see how it's going to spread? I mean, it truly becomes an epidemic of monumental proportions. Interestingly enough, last statistic I'll give you, last statistic I'll give you is this. Out of the AIDS cases today, only 46% of them are transmitted by homosexual contact. The rest is either heterosexual, that's people not using protection when they have intercourse, through mother to baby, or blood transfusion. If you were a hemophiliac, or if you were in a severe car accident, you need a blood transfusion and the blood was not clean. So you can get it multiple ways, and everybody assumes that it's nicknamed the gay plague. That's not the case anymore. You have completely straight people never having a homosexual encounter having AIDS. Here we go. Right, Ronald Reagan. Jack, is this about it?
This is what we've already done.
Yes, ma'am. This is what you've already done. Jack, ask me again.
He's the guy that
Sorry.
the South Park one.
Wait,